everyone. Welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. I am Jose Aliaga, your host, and today we have a special guest. It's an honor and privilege for my show to have our guest. His name is Shane Trejo. Shane is the president of the great new party, PAC. And I'm so happy to have you, Shane. How are you, my friend?
I am doing pretty well today. How about you?
Good. Thank you. And really, it's an honor for me to have you tonight. And I really enjoyed the last show that we got together. But today, I want to talk about this special topic. You know, a lot of Michigan Republican delegates are waiting for the new election for the Michigan GOP Chairman. And that's a very, I would say, it's very important position, and it has been a lot of controversies in the last 3 or 4 years. So can you tell me who are the candidates and tell the people who they are and how many they are too?
Yeah, from what I've seen, there are 4 candidates who are running for MRP chair who have currently announced their candidacy. One is State Senator Jim Runstead, a sitting state senator. Actually, he's my state senator, and operating out of the Oakland County area, White Lake to South Lyon. That's his district, and he has a long conservative voting record. Very good, very well regarded person in the conservative movement in Oakland County. Then we also have Michonne Maddock, wife of State Rep Matt Maddock. Michonne is currently being prosecuted for being one of the Trump electors who refused to go along with the fraud back in 2020. And, she's facing many years in prison for standing strong. Long history of being a conservative activist, Tea Party leader, then, one of the first people to really get on board with Trump in the grassroots in the state back in 2015. So very good, strong records for Senator Runstead and Michonne Maddock. We also have Scott Greenlee. Greenlee is a political consultant. He's been, involved in Republican Party going back many decades, has worked for many different legislators, lawmakers, congressmen, some of whom would be considered on more of the pro-Trump side, some of whom would be considered more on the establishment side, or the people he's worked for. But a wealth of experience there. And then kind of a newcomer by the name of Joe Sella, who was the co-founder of Catholic Vote, very involved in the Catholic conservative movement going back many decades. And he worked for Spencer Abraham when he was a U.S. Senator here back in the 1990s. And he also worked for Representative Thaddeus McCotter when he was the congressman, I believe, in the 11th district, going back over a decade ago. So he's been very involved. He's was an advisor to the U.S. House caucus back, I believe, in the 2000s or maybe even the 90s. So he's been involved going back many years, and someone who's not very well known with the delegates, but will probably be touting his experience as the reason why he should be chair. So those are the 4 candidates that I know of right now. And you have, the way I see it, 2 candidates who are more of your traditional candidate, going through kind of the, for lack of a better word, establishment of the party. Have connections that they can call upon to raise money. Then you have 2 people who are more from the anti-establishment wing, who are going to potentially bring about changes within the party that grassroots activists like myself have been calling for many years now. A lot of people are concerned with the same consultants coming in, running the show, using the party funds to line their own pockets. That's gone on a lot. So it comes down to, are the delegates, do they want something that is more similar to the status quo, or do they want to reject the status quo? They're going to have to, consider that question as they determine who they want to be their next chair candidate. My PAC, the Grand New Party, we are hosting a Zoom training for precinct delegates. It's a training for new delegates, but it's also going to be a candidate forum. We're asking 5 hard questions to all the candidates about, what are they going to do about the never Trumpers and rhinos in the party? How are they going to drive these people out of the party after they've worked to sabotage us over the past nearly 10 years now? What are they going to do about the consultant class? How are they going to raise money but not be beholden, the strings attached to all these big donors want? How are they going to bring in money but stay not corrupt and resist the corrupting influence of the big money? So these are the sort of questions that we're asking. All of them have tentatively said that they are going to show up. So I'm confident that we'll get all 4 people on for our delegate training, and that's taking place on Zoom a week from Wednesday. So you can check out gnppac.com to see and sign up and be reminded that Zoom is going to take place next week. And I know there's also going to be other candidate forums. I know we attend the North Oakland Republican Club. They're doing a candidate forum in person next week. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities to talk to these people, hear them out, hear them answer questions, ask questions of them yourself, to make an informed decision on who you want to be the next Republican Party chair moving forward into the midterms, this next crucial cycle, keeping the Trump momentum alive. It's so important. So I urge everyone to research for themselves, ask questions to these people themselves, make an informed decision so we can get the best possible chair candidate we can.
Sure. Out of these 4 candidates, who do you think are the people that are leading?
What was that?
Out of these 4 new candidates running for Michigan GOP Chairman, who do you think is leading this so far out of the 4 candidates?
It's hard to say. I've seen different polls that indicate that so and so is leading or another person is leading. It's really, really difficult. I mean, and a lot of delegates are going to be up for grabs. There's tons of new delegates who don't really know any of these people very well. And they're going to be completely up for grabs. So it's tough to say. I know that Jim has a very strong core of hardcore conservative delegates that he's bringing to the table. Michonne is racking up a lot of endorsements. Scott Greenlee, he ran the last time around and did better than I thought he would. He had a pretty strong showing. So I think a lot of the people who supported him, who have signed up again to be delegate and will be participating, they'll definitely consider that. So he has kind of a base that he can tap into too. Sella is kind of a long shot in my opinion because no one really knows who he is. And he doesn't have a really strong record of being in the movement that he can point to. So that's going to be a handicap for him. But with so many delegates being new and being up for grabs, he could come in as a dark horse and win too. So I don't want to necessarily say someone is the front runner or not. I think it really depends on what clique you're in, what group of people that you're in the grassroots, who you're hearing from. There's a lot of division, a lot of different factions going on. One faction may be for a certain candidate, one faction may be for another, but all these different factions are going to be trying to wield their influence on the convention floor to get their candidate elected, and there's going to be a ton of people up for grabs. So really, it wouldn't surprise me if any of the candidates won at this point.
I see. So out of the delegates, which county holds the majority of the delegates? Oakland County, Macomb, or the metro area overall has more delegates in the West, or that doesn't matter? How that play out usually?
I think it depends on population size. So if you look at population size, the areas that have the most delegates, Kent County, out in Grand Rapids, all the metro area, Wayne County, Oakland County, Macomb County. These are the areas that are going to have the most delegates. And if you're watching and don't really know how the process works, you sign up as a precinct delegate, you get elected, you're an elected official. You go to convention at the county level, and then if you go through that county level and enough delegates there vote for you to be elevated to vote at state convention, that's when you are able to vote on who the next chair is. So a lot of it depends on, what goes on at these county conventions between the different factions. I know in Oakland County, in the Metro Detroit area, that's, where there's a large concentration of delegates. And those are the areas where probably Michonne Maddock and Jim Runstead are have the most name recognition, and people know who they are because that's the area that they're from, and they've been involved. Jim has been, since he's been, I think, he was a county commissioner in the late 2000s, ran for state rep. Now he's a state senator. So he's been involved in politics for quite some time. Same for Michonne Maddock. Since, the days of the Tea Party era, she's been very involved in local grassroots politics. So they have a foothold in those areas with a lot of delegates. But, a lot of the delegates who have, were a part of things 10 years ago, they've come and gone. A lot of people, because of the division in the past, 4 years or so, they're said, screw it, I don't want to sign up again. And then you get a whole slew of new people who might have been watching the Steve Bannon show or the Charlie Kirk show, and where they urge people to get involved to become delegates. They've heeded the call. This is hundreds, if not thousands, of new people who are coming to the table, getting involved, and they, are not necessarily going to go for anyone who's been maybe them being involved in politics for, a long time is a negative in their eyes. So you never know exactly how it's going to go. It's completely up in the air. But I would say, Jim Runstead and Michonne Maddock being from the Metro Detroit area, that's going to give them an advantage because there's going to be a lot of people, I think, in that area who will be backing them hard and making strong cases to delegates to support those two candidates.
I see. Very good analysis. Yeah, you're right. Those other people like you talk about Kurt and those other guys can influence some of the voters. Is the Steve Bannon or who endorse who? Those endorsements maybe play out in the right time. So, I mean, you point out that Scott Greenlee, last time he actually ended up at third place, far as I remember, and that was a surprise for many people. Michonne Maddock had the experience. She already was the vice chair. She knows how things are run, and that's important because when you have experience and you can, knowing what's going on, you can improve and make the right changes too. That's important. So it's Senator Ronstadt. He's in the legislature for quite a while. He got well connected. And then, who do you think can raise the money? One of the things that I always hear is people want to vote for who can raise the money because money is very important for the state party, and we need some funds for especially to support our gubernatorial candidate on 2026. So out of these candidates, do you think one of them can show already that they can raise the money that we need?
Well, Jim Runstead has stated, and I'm not sure, if there's been documentation showing it, but stated that he's already raised $100,000, just in this stage before he's, a month before the convention's even stated to be held. I know that, Michonne Maddock has, a lot of connections to the Trump people that she can tap for fundraising potentially. And then if you have Greenlee, who's been very well connected for decades. He definitely has a lot of people he could call to raise money. Sella, again, don't know as much about him, but he has many, ties to Washington, D.C. and to the Catholic conservative movement that he could potentially rely on. So I feel like it's going to be, all four of them will be able to raise money. I think they'll all be able to make a good argument that they have the prowess to be able to bring the money in to be able to run the party effectively. I know that, the 2 years ago, there was a big impetus on rejecting the money. The delegates, said that this big money has been poisoning our party for too long. Let's elect a candidate who is not going to take that big money. And we saw a candidate who could not raise the funds to keep the lights on and perform basic tasks within the party. So I don't think that I think delegates are gonna realize that, we need someone who can come in and run a professional operation. And I think all four of the candidates fit the bill in that regard.
I see. So in the like you point out, we have good candidates. At least they have some experience. All of them have the experience, and they have unique qualities that probably certain group will like one better from the other. But you're right. So, what will be the main goal from the next chairman? What will be the issues that you need to correct, improve? What do you think?
What I think they need to do is they need to take the coalitions that Trump has built and, throw, rocket fuel behind them. So, you see the Muslims and the Arab Americans going for Trump in ways that I don't think anyone could have comprehended as recently as, a year or two ago. You see Latino males coming out for President Trump in numbers that are staggering across the country. You see Gen Z males who, are sick of the propaganda that they're hearing on a daily basis, all the woke stuff that, is shoveled down their throats nonstop. They came out for Trump in incredible numbers. So you see these different coalitions. How do you build upon them and make that the permanent base of the Republican Party? So I think we need someone who's going to embrace the Trump movement, firm, the Trump hold on the Republican Party in Michigan, and then make sure that the politics of the past, the Romney Republicanism, the Bush era Republicanism, that stays dead and buried, that we do not backslide into the Republican politics that everyone hated, that Obama won because those politics were so hated. Let's turn the page on that. Let's get rid of that, and let's build upon the new coalitions that are centered around Trump. Let's make sure that a really strong conservative candidate is put up for governor. Someone who has the bona fides of being a proven conservative, but is also credible and presents well to the public, and has the ability to raise money. We need to find that candidate. Can't put up a weak moderate candidate because we'll lose. Right now there's a huge opportunity with Mayor Mike Duggan running as an independent. He's ditched the Democrat Party because they're in such shambles right now. The Democrats will probably put up someone like Nestler Benson, a far left extremist. So that paves the way for a strong conservative to win if they get 40 to 45% of the vote, which is very, very possible. So there's a path to victory, but we cannot backslide into we're going to put up a weak moderate who the big money likes, and then we're going to lose. That's not something we can afford to do. So we need a chair, in my opinion, who is going to firm the Trump hold on the party and make sure that we have strong, credible conservatives running for office in 2026.
I see. And you point out something important. I mean, obviously, the next chairman, one of the biggest thing in his or her agenda will be win the governor race. That's important. So, with that being said, what about the Senate?
The Senate too. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, we shouldn't. I've heard murmurs that Mike Rogers, who lost to Alyssa Slotkin just a couple months ago, he's going to try to run it back and run again, which I think is a terrible idea. Rogers couldn't win with Trump on the ballot carrying him. He still couldn't do it against a non-incumbent. So how the hell is Mike Rogers going to win against an incumbent? And that's a huge advantage without Trump on the ballot carrying him along. There's no chance. That's a suicide mission. So we have to find someone credible for the U.S. Senate. In my opinion, I think, for Senate, it might be, someone who is a little bit more moderate and palatable for the general public. That might be the way to go there. I would say you need a stronger conservative for governor. And for Senate, you got to find someone who has more, talent and charisma than Gary Peters, and who can kind of appeal to a wide variety of the voters. So it's going to be, it's going to be a tall task to find these candidates. But I think we have the talent there. We have people who want they see, I think, now that Trump has won and the state went red and the Democrats are in shambles, there's going to be more talented, intelligent people who think, okay, now's the time to step forward. It's not, like it was 2 years ago where, oh my gosh, Democrats control everything. We just got our butts kicked. The party, the Republican state party is a dumpster fire. Those days are over. Now we have some momentum behind us, and we have the chance to really course correct in a way that was unimaginable. I think a year ago when things were seemingly at their worst. So need someone to tap into that momentum, build the coalitions, and make sure we have great candidates, strategically chosen and pushed for the people to make the right decision. Don't get behind a Mike Rogers, and they say that the state party had nothing to do with Mike Rogers getting the nomination. Meanwhile, at state party headquarters, it's Mike Rogers' headquarters. So they try to play us for fools when they're really stacking the deck. So no more of that. We need better candidates, and we need to put up a chairman who will make sure that those better candidates are the ones that are on the ballot for Michigan in 2026.
I agree. That's a good statement. That's why we need the neutrality of the party until, don't let the people to select in the primaries who's going to represent us on November, and the party can actually support. I agree with you. Well, thank you, Shane. Thank you for your information. I think it's very important for our delegates get to know more about the candidates. You give us a very good information. Thank you so much, my friend. And I know it's not going to be the last interview. We're going to have probably another episode to follow up with this. So do you remember when it's going to be this election for Michigan GOP?
I want to say February 20th and 21st is when the convention will be, or maybe the 21st and 22nd. So I'm pretty sure it's February 22nd that they will ultimately decide who the new chair is. County conventions should be coming up in like 2 weeks or so. So definitely attend your county convention, get involved, make sure you talk to your delegates, make sure you get elevated, make your voice heard, and be part of this process to move our party forward and put in a strong chair.
Yes, true. Thank you, Shane. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your input, and thank you for your time.
For sure.
Thank you. That's all for today, and thank you for following us on Facebook. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give us always a like, and I will be happy to see some of your comments too. Thank you so much for today, and have a blessed day. Thanks. Adios.